Hi everyone, welcome to our first webinar of fall 2018. Today we are looking at Canva for Canvas, and in spite of how similar they sound, they are very different tools for different purposes, but they work beautifully together. Canva is a graphic design tool that is web-based and can be used to make banners and other graphics that you can bring into your Canvas course. So that is what we're going to walk through today. We'll go from creation of the design to downloading it to bringing it into Canvas and making sure that it is presented in an accessible way. So let's get started. First thing that I want to do is go over some examples of banners, which will be our main focus for today, although there are lots of other graphics that you can make with Canva as well. So if you look at this sample page, which some of you know very well, this is the Deft homepage. The part up here is a banner that was made with Canva. It's a white banner, so you can't really see where it ends, but it was made in Canva and just uploaded into Canvas. Here's another one. This is from the tutorials that we have on creating accessible content. And again, a white background with pre-made elements that are in Canva. And then I also wanted to show you the course template homepage. So each semester we produce and publish our new course template for Southwestern College that includes modules with the week numbers and dates, a Q&A discussion, and lots of other things to just give you something to start with as you're building a course. And they include a sample banner. And you can actually click on this banner and it'll take you to an editable version of it. But this is an example of a banner that has a colored background, and you can see what that looks like here. And the last thing I wanted to show you is from one of my courses that I teach with students. This is the template version of it. But this is a banner that is, again, using the pre-made elements in Canva. And I wanted to show you how you could find maybe a background or a theme that you really like and use it as a brand for your course. So you can see the little welcome video that I have on this page has the same photo in the background. So this photo I've used in several places in the class as a design element. And you can also use color schemes. So if you look at the slides we've been looking at, you might have noticed that I've got a color scheme up here of purple text with green decorative dots below it. And if we go back, you'll see that is on several pages. And yes, that was made with Canva. And I simply uploaded it into my slides. And for different things in your course, you could actually change subtly parts of that theme. For example, as we're moving here from looking at homepage banners to regular page banners, you can see that I kept the same font type and size, but I changed the color and I changed my line underneath it. So that sort of thing can add visual consistency to your class, but also help students recognize different elements or even different units in the class. So I'll show you how I made all of those in a couple of minutes. But I just wanted to call attention to how helpful it is to have banners in other places in your class too. So the homepage is a really common place to have a banner, but you also could put it at the top of discussions. So this one is for a Q&A discussion, but if we were to go through this course, you would see that same style is used for the week 1 discussion and the week 2 discussion. And it's very easy to copy and customize those in Canva. So here's a Q&A discussion using a banner. And here's a very similar one from a different class with a different topic. So this one now says introductions, and notice the color scheme is a little different from the previous one. But as you can see, I just made this once in Canva, made a copy of it, changed the color scheme for my different class, and I was ready to go. So it's very fast and easy to use and reuse what you create in Canva. And there are other places that you could use banners as well. This is the syllabus page in Canvas, which is a place where you can upload your syllabus, your course calendar, other things like that. But it essentially is a content page. And so just like any content page, you can put a banner up at the top. So think about how you might use Canva once you're set up and you've got something you like, how you might use and reuse that in different areas of your course. And one other use for Canva in terms of Canvas courses is the course cards that are on your dashboard. So as you can see here, this is an image that was selected from Flickr. So that's one of the options for your course cards. But the other ones were created in Canva. So remember the creating accessible content homepage we looked at? That banner theme is repeated here. It's just on a smaller scale for a course card. So you can very easily create course card images like this and upload them into Canvas for your course. So this page just shows you a few different examples of how you could do that. So all of these were made in Canva, and we're going to go out there now to take a look at it. This is what my site looks like in Canva. And as you can see, there's a lot in here because I've been designing in Canva for a while. When you first get into Canva, you're not going to see all of this down here, but you will see all of the design preset options up here. And we're going to be spending a little bit of time looking at those and playing around with them. So before we get into that, just to orient you to Canva. So Canva is a free site. It does have a pro version that you could pay for if you wanted. It also lets you pay as you go if there are certain elements that are not free and you would like to pay to use those, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But almost all of the things that I have created, and every single one that I've shown you so far today, has been using the free elements that are in Canva. I think I have only paid for something maybe twice, and I've been using it for several years. If you want to, you can pay for things, but the vast majority of the time you'll be able to use it completely free, which is great for educators. So a couple of things that you can use Canva for. As you can see up here, you can use it for things like a presentation slide for PowerPoint or Google, social media posts, notice that square shape, Etsy and email headers, YouTube thumbnails, which I have used quite a bit. The thumbnail is what people see on your YouTube video before they play it. It's the default view. And so you can actually create a graphic that you want them to see and upload it to YouTube. Invitations, flyers, and so on. In fact, if I click more, you'll see all the different templates that are available here. There's quite a few. So instead of social media, you could drill down and do Instagram or Facebook or Pinterest or Twitter. As we scroll down, you'll also see that there are things like book covers, desktop wallpaper, flyers, gift certificates, and then a little bit further down are things like invitations and announcements. And then you're also going to find things like infographics and postcards and more custom uses here too. So those are some of your options to get started, but I'm actually going to make things even easier than that. I'm going to get you started by working with a template that I've already created, and I'm going to share that in the chat window right now. That very long link will take you to the homepage banner template that I have set up and shared with all of you. And it will look like this. All right, so as you see here, I have some instructions here, which some people actually read, but quite a few people don't, and I've had to recreate these instructions a couple of times because they get deleted. So this is in my account, but you have full editing rights to it. So you could do whatever you wanted with this page. So sometimes these things accidentally get deleted. Before we go on and talk about what is here, if it's your first time using Canva, you were asked to create an account or to use Google or Facebook before you came to this page. So that link took you directly into a banner that already has been made. And so the first two are made to view. They have instructions, and we're going to try this out. But before we do, I wanted to scroll through here and show you what else is here. So this is the banner that is in the course template. And below that are some other banners that people at our college have created using some of the templates that are in Canva. So there are a few here. I've deleted most of them so that we all have plenty of room to play. So what you can do to make a banner is, as the instructions say here, use the copy symbol, looks like this, that yellow little screenshot here. So when you mouse over the right-hand side of the banner, it pops up. There's also delete, so be careful. I think that's how I've lost it a few times. And when you click on this copy, I'll do it for this one, it makes a copy right below it. And that's the copy that you can edit and make yours. So once you have a copy of one that you want to play with, I'm going to walk you through how you can customize this. So pick one of the ones that's already here. Go ahead and make a copy of it. And then that copy below is the one that you're going to work with. That way the original one will stay there. All right, so you could just start very simply and keep the same font, size, color, but simply customize the text for your class. So I could click on Course 101, and maybe this is Astronomy 101. Oh, that's a pretty long word. See what happened? So maybe I want to make this a little bit smaller. So if I highlight the text and I go up here at the very top of my window here, we have a font drop-down menu and a size drop-down menu. So I can highlight that. I can choose a smaller size until it is the size that I want. And then whatever this course is called, Intro to the Universe. I'm just making this up. And so maybe I like it being on 2 lines here, but I want to make sure that it's in the right place, and I want some white space or maroon space around it. So I can move it, and you'll notice this is showing me that it's centered. When that little line comes up, that's showing me it's centered with the text that's above it, which is really handy. So maybe that's where I want to leave it. As you can see, it's super easy to start customizing. Okay, you ready to try a couple of other things? Let's say that you look at this and you say, yeah, I like it, but I don't really like that background color so much. I want to change that. So depending on where you click, the menu at the top will change. So when I clicked on the text, then I had a text-driven menu come up where I could change the font, the color of the font, and so on, centering, all of that stuff. But if I click in the background area here, you're going to see that something else comes up. Maria, it looks like you're editing my design, which is why I can't do anything to it. And probably several others of you are too. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and click here. Okay, now I can get in there. So we might end up editing the same things, which is fine. We're just playing around here. I'm going to go ahead and click on that area. And then do you see how this color comes up here? That's the color of my background. So if I want to change that, I can choose one of the colors here. So let's say that I want it to be this color. Boom, now the background changes. Or let's say I want a different version of that color, maybe not that exact color of orange. I can click on the little plus sign, and I can either go lighter or darker, as you can see here, or I could use this color wheel and I could do something totally different if I wanted. So maybe I want to do that. And you'll see the impact of it on your design as you are choosing. So that's kind of fun. You could play in here with those different options. There's also an option on some of these to make it more or less transparent, which may help you with your color choice. But if you have a layered design, maybe you want something on the top to be transparent and you want the back to be more of the solid color. So this part here, maybe I want that to be more or less transparent. I can even make it disappear. So as you can see, these are really easy to customize and get it just how you want it to be. If none of these styles appeal to you, you don't really want to copy one of these and customize it, you can go down to the bottom and you can add a new page to this collection. It'll make it the same size, but it will give you a chance to start with a fresh design. So if we click on add a new page, notice that it'll make a copy of whatever was there before, but I can just delete that background. So I just clicked on it and then clicked on the delete button, and now I have a clear version of this. And the reason I have to keep reloading is because we have a bunch of people working in here. Usually you wouldn't need to do that at all, but I want to make sure that I keep having access here. On the left-hand side here, you're going to see a bunch of different options that are templates. So this one looks pretty familiar, right? That's actually this one. It's just the colors are darkened up a little bit. Oh, green. Okay, whoever changed it to green looks beautiful. Well done. So both of these come from this template. And as you can see, there are lots of other templates to choose from here. And it's very easy to swap things out, not just color, but even graphics, which I'll show you in a minute. So you can just take one of these and make it a starter for you, and then you can just customize it. This one here is the one that was used for the CIS course. This one we just saw a minute ago up here. So all of these are just taking an existing template and then customizing it, which is a fast and easy way to get your banner done. So all of these have free written next to them. The majority of the templates you see in Canva are free. If it's not free, you'll see a little dollar sign. I think all the ones in this area might be free. If it was, here's one. So this one would cost you $1 to use, which I'll explain when we're ready to download. So let's say that I wanted to use that one up at the top that had the picture. This one right here. So let's say this is the one that I want to use. I'm going to go down here and I'm just going to click on it, and it puts it right here in my working area. So obviously my class is not called beach furniture, right? So I'll need to edit that, but I also can swap out the picture if I want to. So in other words, I'm just kind of keeping the layout, maybe the color scheme, and I can change out the items. So if I wanted to change this, of course I could, right? And notice that there's two different fonts here. This one is heavier than this one. So maybe I want to call this Health 101. Personal health. So it would look like this. I could, again, make it smaller if I wanted a smaller font size. And I could also make this centered on the left-hand side if I wanted, instead of centered on the right. So I could do this. There are all sorts of things I could do with this. So let's say I want to do Health 101, and I want the name of the course to be here. Maybe I want to change the color a little bit. So I think I'll make it that color. And then if I want to switch the picture out, I just click on it to activate it. And then you'll notice there's a menu on the left-hand side here. We're on layouts right now. There's also elements, text, background, and uploads. We won't talk about all of these today, but I do want to talk about elements. So if I click on elements, there are free photos I can choose from. There are illustrations I could put in here, charts, icons. I'm going to go with the photos. And here are all of these different photos that I could use. So I could look at one of these, like maybe this one with the berries in the cup. That seems to speak about health to me. So I just drop it into place there. And if I want to resize it, I can. I can change whatever I want about this photo. I can even change the photo itself if I'd like to. But let's just say I'm going to leave it like that. All right, so now I've got a banner. And all the elements I used were free, so it didn't cost me anything. And I'm going to show you one more option over here. So we were in free photos. Underneath that is shapes and lines. And these are nice to put into banners as well. So if I look at the lines, it shows me all sorts of different options here. Some of them are very thick, some of them are very thin. Let's just try this one out. So that's obviously way too big, but you can resize all of these. And maybe I want to put this in the corner here. And I might want to change the color to something that goes with my berries. And there I go. So it's very easy to add different elements. If you're not careful though, it'll get way too crowded. So if I go to text and I choose a subheading. I could put this here, and I could put my name maybe. Whoops, except I didn't spell it right. And I can move it here. But to my mind, that's looking pretty crowded right now. So if I decide I want to delete some of these elements, I can just click on them and use the delete key, and they are gone. So if I'm not sure, I could always make a copy of it, and I could delete them in one and leave them in the other, and then just kind of look at them side by side and see what I think. So as you can see, there's a lot you could do, and it's a lot of fun too. The other place that I am right now that is Uploads, which is down at the very bottom. Uploads gives you a chance to put your own things into this graphic. So you can upload whatever you want. You can upload icons, photos, anything that you would like to use in a design, you can upload. I have the Southwestern College logo. I'm going to put that in right now. So I just click on it, and this is the white version of it. So I look at that and think, yeah, that doesn't look very good. Maybe I want to try a different version of the Southwestern College logo. I have one right there. And then if I bring it over here, I can resize it. Oh, okay, maybe that one works a little bit better. So you can upload things as simply as dragging and dropping them into this area, or you can click here and go into your computer files, either way. And I'm going to upload an image right now just to show you what that's like. I'm going to drag over an open folder that I have, and I'm going to take one of these images and drag it here. And then in a matter of seconds, it loads, as you can see here. And then I'm able to use it as soon as this little icon of water here is full. So once that's done, it'll be ready for me to use, and it stays in my account for as long as I'd like to, until I'm ready to delete it. Okay. So if I wanted to bring this in, I could put it right here if I wanted. And then I can always delete it and get rid of it if I want to. I've also shared with you a page banner template, which is a little narrower than the homepage banners so that they fit better on a page. And you'll see there are some instructions here, as well as a few different color schemes to choose from. And like with the other banners, you can simply copy one to then make it yours and edit it. And then the last one is course cards. These look really big, but if you look at the shape, you'll see it's the same shape as what you would use in your course cards in Canvas. So I have a few starters here just to give you something to think about. Some of these, like this one, were made with a background that comes preset. So this is one of the tabs we haven't looked at yet. And as you can see, there are all kinds of different backgrounds here that are free. Some of them have some design to them. Others are different colors. And some of them are replicating something like stone or concrete or granite or things like that. And most of them are free. You will see that some of the fancier ones would cost money. Okay, so I am going to make a banner. I'm going to make a copy of, I think I'll do the syllabus one. So if I make a copy of this, and I have my syllabus here, but I think I want to make this a discussion instead. I think this is going to be my introductions. And this is my week 1 discussion. And maybe I don't want the key here. Maybe I want another icon. So I'm going to click on elements. And I'm going to look at what icons I have to choose from. So this is just where that free photos were. It's another little area called icons. Kind of like this one. Maybe I want to use this one instead. So I'm going to delete my old icon and put a new one. And I can choose whatever color I want for that. So maybe I want it to be a bright blue color. And there we go. And maybe I want this to be that same bright blue color. So I can go find it. And maybe I want to change these as well. So as you can see, I can just kind of play around with this however I want to. And then I'm ready to download it, which is our next step. So let's say that this is just how I wanted it to be. Once I had it set, I would probably make some copies of it so that I could call the next one week 2 discussion and put the words up there for that one. So I could make all of them at the same time. And then when I'm done, I'm going to download them. So up at the top here is a download button. So I'm going to click on this button, and by default, it's going to give you PNG, which is an image file. So I recommend that for your graphics. And then you can choose if you want to download all the pages or just 1 or 2 of them. In this case, I just want the one I made here. And if I look over to the right of my design, it says number 4. So this is page 4 of this set of designs. So I type 4 in the box, and then I click download. It gives me some inspirational quote to entertain me while it downloads, and then there it is right there. So I'm just going to leave it there for a minute, and then I'm going to go over to my class. Before I do, I want to show you what would happen if I used a paid element. In here, one of these has a paid element, and it's this one right here. So if I wanted to download this one, it's going to give me a little note about that, and I can choose if I want to pay for it or if I want to put something else in there. So I'm going to click on download so you can see what that looks like. So this is number 7. So I'm going to type in 7 and click download. Okay, so this box comes up if you have a premium element in your design. So this is the part that would cost money to use it. And as you can see, it says one-time use, $1. There are some other options too, but the one-time use gives you 24 hours to perfect and download your design for that $1 that you're paying. So it is certainly affordable to do this if you have a design that you really like. And you would just put in your credit card information, you would purchase and download. Now, if you came back to this banner next semester, you would need to pay the $1 again if you wanted to customize it for the new semester. So you have a 24-hour window after you pay the money to finish up your design and download it for use. I'm not actually going to download that one. Instead, I'm going to go over to Canvas now so that we can talk about how you can get this into your course. So I have a sample discussion that I've already set up here. Week 1 discussion, I've got all my information for students, all my instructions. The key thing that is missing is my banner. So I'm going to click on edit. And from the instructor view, you'll see a little sidebar here called the content selector. And this is where you can insert links, files, and images. So I can use this to bring my new image in. So I would click on upload a new image. And then I would choose my file. And in this case, it was a download. And there it is, page banner templates. Yep, that's the one I want. And then before I get to the alternative text, I wanted to draw your attention to something a lot of people miss, and that is the folder option. So if you have your files organized in your class, so you have a folder for each week, or you have a folder for your banners, you can tell Canvas to put it in there. It'll go on the page too, but that's where the original will be stored. So in this case, I do have a banners folder in my files area. So I want this to go in the banners. Okay, so I'm almost done here. I know that I want to put it here. That's where my cursor is. I've selected the banner that I want to bring in, where it's going to live. And so now I just need the alternative text. So remember, alternative text is something that you really can't see because it's designed for screen readers to use. So somebody who cannot see the visual on your page is going to use a screen reader, and the screen reader will read out loud what is on that page. So all of the text will be read out loud, and when it gets to an image, it will read what you put in this box for alternative text. And it'll say image before it reads it. So you never need to use the word image of or photo of, because the screen reader will take care of that. So what you want to do for alternative text is give in words the understanding that you're giving with the image. And in this case, my banner is just providing information about what is on this page. So what I want to do is use the same words that I had in my banner and put them in the alternative text box. So anytime you have words in the image, you want to make sure those get in the box. So I'm going to go back and look at my banner here. It says Introductions Week 1 Discussion. All right, so that's what I'm going to type here. All right, and then I click Upload. And boom, there it is. So I'm going to save. And we'll see what that looks like. There it is. So now I've got a banner. All right, so the last thing that I want to talk to you about is how this banner looks now that we have it on the page. So if you're looking at that saying, hey, that's great, but I wish it was a little bit bigger. Keep in mind that you can resize these, but also keep in mind that Canvas will resize depending on the window that it's using. So on a mobile device, this is going to look very different. In fact, if I pop this out, I can give you a sense. Let me get this out of the way here. So I want you to notice how the text in my paragraph is changing as my screen size changes. So if we get closer to what an iPad or a mobile phone might look like, all of a sudden it looks very different, right? So you can kind of keep in mind that it doesn't look exactly the way you see it depending on the student's screen. But what happens if their screen is this size? Now it's starting to cut off that banner, right? Everything else is resizing beautifully, but my banner is being cut off. So there is something that you might want to know about that can help you make your design responsive to different screen sizes. So I'm going to go into Edit. And there are two ways you can play around with the image size. One of them is to click on the image icon from the Rich Content Editor and actually change the dimensions down here. So if I change them in one area, like let's say I change the width, which is the first number, to 900, the height is going to change too, so that they still are in the right ratio. So I just made it a little bit bigger there. But if I really want to make it responsive to the different screen sizes, there is an HTML trick that you should know about. So this is like the advanced possibility here. You don't have to do this at all. But if you think your students are going to be using a variety of devices, it might be helpful to do. So I'm going to go into the HTML editor. Hang on, everybody. We're going into HTML. And all you see is just a bunch of code, right? It's always going to bring you in at the very bottom. But since my banner is up at the top, I'm going to use the scroll bar to go to the very top. And this is actually my banner. And I can tell because there's my alternative text, right? And notice what comes after it, the width and the height. So this is the area that I want to adjust. So here's the trick. Right now it's set at 900. It originally was 800. So that is a set width. But you can replace that with a percentage if you want to. And then no matter what size the screen is, it will take up that percentage of space. So let's see what happens if I replace the number with, say, 80%. I don't have to change the height. I just have to change the width. And now I'm going to save it. And it looks the same, but watch what happens when I resize. You see how it's getting a little bit smaller? It's staying within the percentage that I set up. So it'll never run off the page. And as things get bigger, it will get bigger too. So that's something you might want to play around with. You can do that for any image you have, but it's really nice for banners. So that is called responsive design. And it's, again, achieved through clicking on Edit, clicking on HTML, going up to where your banner is, and changing that percentage. So I could make it 90%, I could make it 50%, however I want that banner to display on the page. So that is the majority of what I wanted to show you, but there is one more thing that I want to push out to you before we are out of time, and that is a couple of resources you might want to be aware of for Canva. So in your Canva account, in the bottom left-hand corner is a link called Learn to Design, and it takes you to this tutorials page, and these are really great tutorials. They're interactive, they use lots of visuals from the Canva site, and they go over some really interesting topics, from basics to using complementary colors to the use of space in a design. So that really kind of gives you some ideas that graphic designers use. There's also a Canva YouTube channel that has lots of how-to videos going through some of the things that we did today and more. There are over 20 videos on this page.
So there you have it, Canva for Canvas. Happy exploring!